Hello, good to be with you. It is August 3rd where I am, and this is Healing Shame with Jeffrey B., your host, yours truly. Let's just jump right in. I'm going to put the reading on the screen for you. August 3rd, Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Big Red Book, page 227. Making an amends list is part of wiping the slate clean for ourselves and walking into a new way of life. Many of us had been part of physically and emotionally unsafe relationships as adults, and we knew we eventually had to own our part in those relationships. As we made our amends list, we were told to put ourselves first. In doing so, we thought about all the things we had lost, most importantly, our childhoods, and what that meant for us. Even though we missed the stages of child development we were entitled to, we realized we could nurture ourselves and help make up for that loss. In making amends to ourselves, we acknowledge any self harm we have done, including not forgiving ourselves for simply being human. Then we move on to amends to others, knowing we aren't being asked to make amends to unsafe people. Taking step 8 helps us grow spiritually and emotionally. Whatever amends we eventually make, it's a healing process. As part of this process, we continue to work on the character defects that have placed us in the position of making amends in the first place. We go forward in confidence and love to whatever comes next. Here's our affirmation. On this day, I will stay current with the amends I owe myself and then work with those I may owe others. That's copyright 2013 Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families World Service Organization. Step 8, and I'm first on the list. And that's the most important thing to remember. I lost so many things throughout my life, including my childhood, all the things I was entitled to, I never received, never got validated, I never got nurtured, I never got loved properly. I only had to deal with violence, shame, anger, confusion, triangulation, being compared to my brothers, being in a constant competition with them all my childhood, never measuring up, never being good enough, perfectionist to think. I mean, and it goes on and on and on. And because of that core of toxic shame that I built up, because of them, not me, but because of the primary caregivers, um, I learned to abandon myself. And in abandoning myself, I hurt myself. I formed all kinds of very, very dangerous habits and patterns of living, addiction to people, relationships, and um, secondary substances, exogenous substances like drugs and alcohol, caffeine, negative thinking, fantasy, everything, anything and everything to not feel my feelings and to escape. The other day was about dissociation. So I became the master at escaping from my body. So I have to try to get back to my body. But yeah, number one on the list is self, is me. And then once I make that amends to myself for all the damage I've done over the years to myself, then I can go out and I can start looking at the other people. And that's what differentiates ACA from a program like AA. In AA, basically what you're doing is you are putting all the other people first, and then it's not really talked about so much to make amends to yourself. It is mentioned in the 12 and 12, self forgiveness. It's there. You have to look for it, but it's there. But in ACA, they make sure that you're first on this list. You've got to forgive yourself. You've got to make amends to yourself. And then you can go out and start, trying to repair the damage from the past in all these unhealthy relationships that we've been in. Because I've been in many unhealthy relationships. And there are things I continue to do to myself, that are just no good. I still act out in ways, still do self harming behavior, engage in that. And I don't forgive myself very easily because I've got a critic. I've got a strong inner critic that tells me, no, I'm not going to let you forgive yourself. You should have done better. You're not good enough. See, you messed up again. So, and I have to invite that critic to speak or to be louder and louder. So there's a lot of work that goes into this self-forgiveness process. And that once we've mastered that part, then we can go out and carefully start making amends to those other people. But this isn't about making the amends. This is about making the list. So first we've got to actually make that list, me being number one on the list. And of course that naturally leads right into making the amends to myself. And then once I put those people's names on the list, that's the easy part, right? It's putting their name on the list. That's nothing. Just write everything down. Write them all down. Whether you're going to actually make that amend or not, you don't know. Maybe the person's dead. Maybe it's somebody that doesn't need to be approached right now because it's going to be cause more harm than good. We just don't know. So we take our time with this. Don't rush into it. Make the list. Check it with your sponsor, and then just go from there. But that's all I've got today. Um, step 8, and you're first on the list. Till next time, all the best.